don't need to do this. Come home, Braun. You know you've always wanted to be together. Follow me, Braun. You know we've always wanted to be together.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
Yes! You just made the list!
Brock Lesnar.
And hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Stuart Irvine.
My name is Joshua Plummer.
And what a surprise, we're back again for another review of a WWE pay-per-view. Obviously, we haven't, have we done one for a while? I mean, I can't remember the last one we did, because it's...
I believe it was, I think the last one we did was an NXT TakeOver in your house. I remember we did 3 in succession, like 3 in 3 weeks.
Well, we're quite productive for a change.
Yeah, was that Backlash, NXT TakeOver in your house, and AEW Double or Nothing?
Yeah, I remember that. It's just like every other... Surprisingly went well. But yeah, so we haven't been back since Backlash then. Yeah. Obviously, this one, as always with these kind of pay-per-views, it's kind of like these kind of things. WWE now, it feels like it's one of those shows where it's like, oh, it's on. Oh, we've got to watch it. Oh, I totally forgot it's on. That's what I feel with the WWE show sometimes. When you're not 100% invested in it, you just forget. Oh, it's on this Sunday.
Yeah, especially at midweek or in the build-up, especially those first like 2 or 3 weeks of build, not really following kind of what's going on until maybe the week of. I didn't watch like any SmackDown at all, any highlights at all. I think I caught a little bit of Raw, but there wasn't really anything new or like massive development.
Well, that's the problem with it now. It's like we're talking about ages. It's just like it's not that kind of. You don't miss anything anymore. That's probably why people don't like. Not a lot of people watch it anymore. So, because it's like, what you can skip it for like nearly 2 months, and you can watch the pay-per-view, and it's like, oh, okay, I can kind of watch it, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's gone on the days of the Attitude Era where you had to tune in each and every week to find out what the hell is going on. Yeah,
God, we do miss those days, right? I
mean,
I know people. I don't want to be that person. Go back to those days, but it's just you miss that kind of like you have to watch it, or you're going to miss something type feeling.
Yeah, and it was all cram-packed within 2 hours as well, or an hour and a half. It's basically watching an action movie, watching an old Raw and old SmackDown, but you're tuning now like 3 hours. Like, Jesus Christ, this is dragging. You know? Yeah.
But, well, funny fact about this pay-per-view is it, for one thing, it's like, what's the notice from the overall of it, it's really short. I mean, another short pay-per-view.
Yeah, surprisingly short. Particularly the last match where it was rumoured that it was going to be at least half an hour long. It didn't. It ran just under 20 minutes.
Yeah, that was a weird one. That I mean, we'll get into obviously as always we'll get into that. But yeah, I mean, the funny thing, obviously with this one was obviously the only kickoff show match they had was they added it like last minute.
Yep.
Was Kevin Owens versus Buddy Murphy?
Yes.
Yeah, again. But it's more of a sort of bring it up situation more than actually just talking about the match, because isn't it kind of worrying that Kevin Owens is just on a pre-show match? I mean, are they dropping the ball with him again?
I guess so. Maybe it's something similar to NXT where you've got Tommaso Ciampa. Why the hell has he gone? That apparently creative have nothing for him. But you got Kevin Owens doing he's doing the Kevin Owens show, which is nice, but you'd rather see him like in a feud. Like I loved it when he was, especially when he was a heel. But when he did the big face turn, trying to be kind of this like Stone Cold Steve Austin, like doing the stunner. But yeah, like at the moment he doesn't appear to be doing a lot. And you know what he's doing, I think he's doing well. I mean, the match was, from what I saw, like highlights of it was fine, it was solid. I can't remember too much about it. But there's one particular moment I think where he humorously tweeted about his thought process about a particular move where he was going to go for a moonsault or a frog splash, but then decided against it and just decided to do a reverse or just a moonsault and land that, which he hadn't done for like a while. So okay, that's a nice thought process there.
Yeah, so you could have went for the frog splash. It's obviously not hard. Well, it is hard, but it's like it's not as hard as obviously doing a moonsault.
He's worrying for Buddy Murphy because he's a smart competitor, great in-ring psychology. They always pretty much put their knees up to block it.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously got the win. I mean, hopefully, obviously I'll keep an eye on it, but it's just like they better not be. It's like this guy should be. Again, it's a story. I guess it's one of those stories. It's just they're not doing anything with him, and they should. They've got all this talent again, and it's just like, I mean, this match. I would have put this on the main show personally, especially with we'll be getting to it later about the MVP and United States Championship thing.
Yes,
they could have. I mean, I don't like them just slapping matches in, just for the sake of it. No. But I mean, if it's good, and it's really good, I wouldn't have minded it. Especially with these two, you could expect a brilliant match, really. They're both really good at their craft, so.
If you want new fans or casual fans to, because they put the kickoff show on, I think, free on YouTube as well. If you want the casual fans to get the pay-per-view, or new fans coming in to buy the pay-per-view or get the WWE Network, then yeah, it's a good match to kick off with.
Yeah, but maybe just because it means I have to go and watch the kickoff to watch it. So maybe I'm just because I'm the committed fan. That I watch the pay-per-views, don't have to be convinced to buy it because I'm going to watch it. So
yeah,
I'm just greedy. I wanted to see that match. I might have to go back and watch it, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's just unless Kevin Owens is doing a thing against these Stu fighting like the Monday Night Messiah or something, because obviously Buddy Murphy's one of the disciples. So maybe.
Yeah, I forget. Is it Kevin Owens, Aleister Black, and Humberto Carrillo, and Rey Mysterio against the Monday Night Messiah? Buddy Murphy and Austin Theory. I'm not quite sure.
But again, I guess to say one listen to this, you'd be like, sorry if this sounds like you wanted actually information from this.
No.
I just thought I'd bring it up. Sorry. but yeah, I think that's where they're going for it. But yeah, so obviously Kevin Owens won that match, and that led into the main show. Whereas Again, it either be like some sort of big title match or some sort of tag team match, and in this case, they seem to always put a New Day first to kick off the show. So obviously, we talk about the tag team table match between obviously the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the New Day, and Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro. I gotta be honest, like the table stipulation. Obviously, if you've in our prediction league, you were a bit confused about how it was working as well.
Yep.
I mean, are you happy? I mean, I'm kind of disappointed with the stipulation, it just being put one person through a table.
Yeah, I love the stipulation where if you go back to say, like a really good example is the opening match of Survivor Series 2002. I think it's Jeff Hardy and the Dudley Boys against 3 Minute Warning. I think that's elimination. That's a fun way to start the show. And if you've got a babyface team against a heel team, and the babyface team is suddenly put at a disadvantage, now 2-on-1. Now you get more emotionally invested, but now it's just one, just one table.
Yeah, I mean, what I was thinking of, I think it was what was it, the Dudleys versus the Hardys in that match at the first, was it the tables match at Royal Rumble 2000?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean that was a thing. That's when they done the sort of elimination thing. But yeah, I mean it's not like it's a small gripe because obviously tables match is still entertaining without it, but I don't know, just it just would have made it a bit more fun. But so instead of it's one table, would have been nice to put like two or like both opponents, and just there's more opportunity for story in that.
I think so.
Than just one person going for a table. But but I mean about the match, I mean I think I can't really complain anything about this match. It was quite, for me, it felt like it's, when you think of like stipulation type matches, it's quite standard for WWE in this kind of style. You expect a certain level of just like high flying moves, a lot of counters, a lot of setting up tables but they're not using them, maybe using interesting ways to use the table, that kind of stuff. Yeah,
there's some interesting offense. I think in particular Kofi Kingston really stood up for me in this match. He just kind of switched like another gear, hitting those like drop kicks on Shinsuke and then on Cesaro. He was all over the place, jumping around. I'm not quite sure where he was there to showcase how, by the way, I was a former world champion, but now I'm world champion. Would you believe it? But now he's opening the show again and again and again. Whether that's him like trying to remind the audience, oh, I was a world champion, it might lead to something else. Like one day, like potentially if Braun Strowman comes back, Universal Champion, Kofi could challenge maybe, or Kofi was a lot more, I guess, like tenacious and aggressive. So does that mean that New Day, like maybe if they want to freshen up, maybe turn heel perhaps? Just throwing that out there, maybe.
I think for me it was the Kofi situation. It's just like, again, I think he's put in that position because obviously Xavier Woods is out, so you kind of have to keep the New Day going. He's got to sort of stick in that role at the moment. But it's like yet again another example of like, he won the WWE champion. He was like he had it for like a couple of months. He was like, proper, like, well, you could say the face of SmackDown, really. He had the title for ages. And then he just lost it to Brock in like how many seconds? 8 seconds?
Yep.
Something like that. And then after that, it's just like, okay, cool, you've had your chance. Back down to the bottom of the pile. Back to the tag team division. And then it's like, they forgot you were ever champion. It just sucks. But, I mean, about this match is like, it was fun. It was fun. It was exactly what it's supposed to be, wasn't it? It was fun. It was entertaining. You kind of there's enough action going on. You kind of, you can enjoy it. Obviously, you had that. I think I like that. Was it counter when I think it was like the thing which Kofi was going over top rope and sort of like Cesaro and Nakamura sort of lifted up the table and he slammed right into it.
Yeah, Biggie launching Kofi out of the ring. Kofi colliding with the table. There was a lot of innovative offense from Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura, so they're getting a bit more team chemistry there. I can see the potential of having Cesaro doing his Cesaro swing, getting his opponent dizzy, and then Shinsuke Nakamura running in with a Kinshasa. That could be a nice finish. Yeah,
I mean, you obviously got that move they do with, it's kind of is that in some ways, but he does a swing and then obviously just the person swings straight into Nakamura's knee.
Yeah, to Kinshasa. He did 2 sliding knees, but I thought surely it'd be a Kinshasa. He did it twice.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I guess it's only the finisher until like the announcers say it's the finisher, right? So
yeah,
or maybe we just don't know. We don't understand the rules or anything. I don't know. But but again, it's like the finish was great. I like the finish. I mean, it's just like the fit with the cool spot when you've got 2 tables on top of each other, and then you just take him from the top rope and then just slam Kofi through it.
Yeah, that was a hell of a bump.
It's always a bump when you see like going through technically not just 1 table but 2 tables.
Yeah, that table is not padding. That makes it worse.
I know. I mean, that's gotta hurt, as someone would say, right? I mean, it's when you see like sort of all the Extreme Rules, extreme matches where it's just like, I think people like put 2 or 3, like 2 stacks of like 4 or 5 different tables or something. It's like an example like TLC, the one where it's like was it the Dudleys, and I think Dudleys went through like 2 or 3 of them, or like Royal Rumble 2000 where it's just I went through 2 of them. It's just like it's a horrible spot if you get it wrong.
If you just clip the edge, as some people have done, like, oh god, that looks even worse. They haven't gone like straight through, like perfect smash, clipping their head like on the edge. Oh, that's horrible. But this was a great bump. Like kudos to Kofi again, man of the match pretty much. Yeah,
I mean, obviously in this one I put the New Day to win, but I've got to be honest, it's like New Day, it's 8-time champions now. They've won it like they're sort of like I don't see that kind of like Edge and Christian type, kind of like they've won so many tag team titles together type situation. So it's, I mean, the problem with New Day is like, what do you do with them now? It's like they're multiple time tag team champions. They've probably done every variation I can think of like mixed up a little bit. I mean, when have they been a tag team since what, 2014?
Yeah, 2013, 2014, something like that.
It's been this like I just remember it's just like everyone's like, it's not going to work. It's like it'll get annoying very quickly, and all of a sudden it's become one of the best tag gimmicks in a very long time. But I'm just curious because obviously now it's like SmackDown. Did it have a tag division at the moment?
Well, apart from New Day, Cesaro, and Shinsuke Nakamura, which still has that element of like 2 really good individuals just thrown together as a tag team. I don't know where Sami Zayn's got to. There's Heavy Machinery.
Are they technically a team now? Because obviously, Otis is now kind of a single star now because he's got the briefcase. So
yeah, but then he says he's going to potentially cash it in. I get it. You want to make the tag team titles like feel important, but that is a waste of a briefcase.
I mean, have all the things you can cash it in. You cash it in on the tag titles. That hasn't, no offense, doesn't meant anything for a very long time. You don't do that, but yeah, I mean, I guess it's mixed up a little bit because obviously, as someone pointed out, like this is like what the third variation that Cesaro's won the tag titles. He won it with Tyson. Was it Tyson Kidd? Obviously, then he won it with Sheamus, and now Shinsuke Nakamura. So like, if you put him as like a tag team wrestler, like Cesaro's probably one of the best out there now, isn't he? But it's just his singles one has never really materialised over the years.
No, I don't know why that is. Like for his like wrestling ability, he can get over like no problem. But whether it's just like his mic skills let him down, or I'm not sure what it is.
Well, I think the old thing was that Vince doesn't think people because of his accent or something like that. He doesn't think people will understand him. It's kind of like seriously, mate. We're talking about wrestling where it's like we're talking about wrestling, right? We've got people can like get over by not even saying a word. So I don't think I like that argument, but yeah, I mean it was a nice finish. Match was as good as you expect from these four. To be fair, you're expecting a good match. I think it was like 10 minutes. It was 10 minutes ish. It was fine. It was fine. It was type. As you always say with the show, you always start with something good, or you start something that gets you like kind of okay, this will be all right. And this match was fine. I enjoyed it. Nice,
fast pace. Set the level fairly highish. Like okay, top lap. And leading into the second match, and I think the second match was also equally enjoyable. We didn't get the cringy moment, or this annoying moment before this match with any Bayley or Sasha match. It's Bayley and Nikki Cross, and we usually get that stupid repetitive moment where there's been absolutely no animosity or like any kind of tension between Bayley or Sasha Banks. Yet Kayla Braxton or whoever it is just comes and goes, oh, so your friend, so your best friend. So blah, 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 what's happened here? Are you doing just trying to stir like shit, which isn't there. It's like that there's absolutely nothing to insinuate that they're going to split up. There was a little tease only at like WrestleMania. That was it. And they haven't gone back to that. So it looks like they're going to hold on to, or spoiler alert, we'll get into it later, but the titles for quite a while, I reckon. And that's going to play the factor into the split.
I get what you mean. It sort of shows their lack of like, well, I don't say laziness as writers, but like sort of that feeling that you kind of have to sort of get an interviewer to say, "Whoa, is there dissension in the ranks?" It's like, what's the old adage when it comes to writing? Show, don't tell.
Yeah. In
this situation, it should be like, so don't just ask if there's dissension. They should just show there's dissension.
Yeah, let the audience try and figure it out.
Yeah, obviously at the moment there's no audience, but it's like
the audience at home.
Yeah, we're quite smart, right? Us wrestling fans. I mean, it doesn't sound like it on Twitter sometimes, but we're quite knowledgeable. So I think if you gave like subtle hints, we can figure out. So, but I mean, yes, you're right. Yeah, they didn't do anything stupid, like annoying like that. But it was just the same old stuff with here. With what you expect from a Bayley match the last couple of months, really. Kind of like being the typical heel, just sort of like annoying everyone. Continuously shouting at Marco Cole.
Yeah. Bayley is getting more and more confident and more cocky each time until her opponent starts getting the upper hand, and then she has to cheat to win. I'm really liking this heel Bayley. It's finally come to fruition. I think the last 3 months or so, like, yeah, this is good stuff from Bayley, but this is the best heel Bayley we've seen so far, I think.
Oh yeah, by far, 100%.
Yeah. Just jumping back slightly. As we talk about Nikki Cross as well, they did the whole angle about Nikki Cross like not having any confidence. Like, where the hell did that come from as well? Going back to a similar point. When did you set that in motion? I know I missed SmackDown last week, but really you're just doing it 1 week before. It's like you won a fatal 4-way match. Sure, your confidence should be like sky high. Well,
to be fair, the hilarious thing is that watching the match, There's no confidence in the way she was acting in that match, was it?
Again,
she's full of confidence.
Yeah, Nikki Cross came out of the blocks, hitting. She hit a finisher really early on, and then what was great about it is, it's stupid what Dolph Ziggler did later on, or what Dolph Ziggler, what Nikki Cross didn't do. That there was a pinning attempt, nearly got her. Bayley rolls to the outside, and then instead of waiting for no reason, Nikki Cross, okay, straight out of the ring, just go attack again. Brilliant. Yeah, that's what you do. Great work there from Nikki. Great intelligence.
Well, we expect nothing less from Nikki Cross, to be fair, because ability in the ring has never been in question.
No,
to be fair.
The only thing that's been a letdown probably is the handling of her character. When she was teamed with Alexa Bliss, I mean, yeah, you could say the same with Bayley and Sasha. It's when are they going to split? Why haven't they split yet? Same with Bliss and Cross. Why haven't they split yet? Why hasn't Alexa Bliss used the crazy Nikki Cross, manipulated her and all sorts of play in this long game to get what she wants? Or has Nikki Cross has Nikki Cross not gone crazy again yet? Because that was the best Nikki Cross. I mean, do I have to point out that last women's standing match she had against Asuka? That was beautiful.
I think for me it's there's you said about Alexa Bliss where she's got a bit I don't want to say stale, but she's not doing much. So why not set that up with Nikki Cross? Because even before the fans weren't allowed back in, it kind of people do really getting behind Nikki Cross. I mean, if they set that up, it could be done. It could be a good angle. But yeah, I mean, isn't this her first title? First time she challenged for the title since she's been called up, a singles title.
For a while. The last championship match I can think of that she had, I think, was against Shayna Baszler, either on her own or when she had a fatal 4-way match. But I'm not quite sure which came first. But that was back in NXT.
Well, of course, it's NXT. I mean, but yeah, I guess it's what this match is just again. It's Bayley's. I think she's got her character and the way she acts in the ring nailed down to a T now. And obviously, Nikki Cross was really good at playing the sort of I wouldn't say, kind of. She at some points there were some points and she got some pretty close near falls. I mean, obviously, I didn't think in a million years she was going to win, but I mean. It just had them snippets of moments that kind of get you invested a little bit. You had that nice thing. Well, I found good anyway. Just I like the nice thing with the whole thing with the apron, where it's she's using the Bayley was using the apron as some sort it's like a weapon to sort of attack her, and then all of a sudden she disappeared, Nikki Cross, and then he found her on the other side of the ring, and I mean. Edge just she crawled under the ring, went on the other side. I'm kind of I thought that's cool. I mean, it's nothing new, of course, but I mean, it's it was just a nice little highlight for me. I guess it was just that's pretty cool.
I enjoyed the moment where Bayley was clearly at a disadvantage. Her championship was in danger of being taken from her, where she ran into attack Nikki Cross, smacked her face, great sell into the turnbuckle. And then moments later, she gets hit by the neck breaker from the apron to the floor. It's okay. Bayley really is in trouble now. And Sasha is selling really well as well, showing actual concern for her friend. But the problem is when you got those close-up shots where holding all the titles, which looks great, by the way, holding both the tag titles and the SmackDown tag around the waist. But when you see those cuts into Sasha, you see the brass knuckles are still in her hands. Okay, they're going to be used, surely. Either one of the titles is going to be used or those brass knuckles going to be used. And I called it because later on there's a distraction. Sasha hands over the brass knuckles to Bayley. Bayley hits Nikki in the abdomen, which is odd. I thought you just go straight for the face, really Regal style, knockout blow. Yeah, that was the only gripe I had. Just go straight for the mush. On the chin, out she goes, like a light. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, but I guess I don't know if does it set up a finisher? Because obviously I think it's like a face buster or something, or something like that, like a trip. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I would have gone for the jaw. Yeah, that's usually how the whole thing works, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's only a little gripe. It's only a little gripe because obviously the whole thing the whole story is she cheated. Nikki Cross is probably going to win it, and then she had to resort to cheating to beat her. And and as always, they are annoying when they win because they keep shouting and all that, and it's just like, when can them titles come off them?
Yeah, and it's a wave. They start off arrogant and confident and cocky, like, yeah, look at me, taunting, and as soon as their opponent's getting the upper hand, and then they cheat to win, and they go straight back to, oh no, I was always confident all along.
Yeah,
that's enjoyable.
Yeah,
perfect heel.
Perfect heel.
Yeah.
Perfect heels, really. But yeah, I mean, obviously this one, it's like obviously you don't do rematches really unless they've got meaning. But it seems like that could be if there's a rematch in there somewhere. I mean, because I can't think of anybody else. Because obviously Charlotte, I think Charlotte's out for like a couple of months, right? If I remember the reports.
Charlotte's yeah. I mean, one fix that could potentially be, and then going into what we were talking about earlier with Bliss and Cross, you could have a triple threat match. Sasha Banks is banned from ringside, potentially. So Bliss and Cross are working against Bayley. There's a little bit of falling out on miscommunication. It's no disqualifications. Maybe Bayley has got the brass knuckles in her trunks or something like that, or she used the title. It is no DQ after all in a triple threat match, and she gets to win there. And then there's tension between Bliss and Cross. Yeah,
I mean, there's I think this rivalry kind of like has opportunity for who's going to turn on who, maybe if they build it up. But the funny thing is about Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss, there's no indications that there's going to be a split up there, because unless it just happens out of the blue for like the shock factor. But I mean, against Bayley's been great. Sasha has been great as well. Nikki, everyone was really good in this match, and again, as you said, really entertaining. Nothing I can really properly gripe on it, really, other than just like little things. But yeah, everyone looked good, and it was just again quite enjoyable. And when you're staying up at like 2 or 3 or 1 or 2 in the morning, to have a match that actually is quite enjoyable is quite is nice.
Even though it is one of those matches where you've got the predictability, it's the same with Drew and Dolph later on. Like, Bayley's going to win, Drew's going to win. This is simply there to elevate the character and show how strong a champion they are, how strong a character they are, and lengthen their reign. But you can do it with heightened drama and tell a really good story, and I think that's what they did here.
Totally agree, 100%. It was just fun, and obviously maybe I'm a sucker for heels, but I always like a good cheat to win, especially with the brass knucks.
The brass knucks, we're big Regal fans, as some regular listeners know. So
yep, huge Regal fans. Oh god, yeah. It was anyone did the brass knucks, I'm like, yeah, that's winning Regal there. You know where they got that from. But good match. We enjoyed it. Now we get, if I'm correct, now we get to one where it's like it was going to be a match.
We could just skip over this one, couldn't we? Because this match didn't happen.
No, I mean, interesting one, this one. Probably for the fact it's more of the backstage stuff's more. The backstage stuff is interesting in the sense of why the match didn't happen, not actually the whole promo with MVP and all that, because that was just really awkward and really bad. But I mean,
yeah, the only interesting thing is, was MVP gonna give the title to Bobby Lashley for no reason? Apparently, because this match didn't actually take place. Apollo Crews is still the champion. So now we've got 2 titles where like who's the champion, who's the US champion, and who's the Raw Women's champion. Oh
god, I hate controversy. Like, I mean, this is you can do good controversy and then bad controversy. This is bad, but I think for them though this is kind of one they I don't think it really was their fault.
No,
because from what I've done a bit of research onto it. Apparently on sort of liable sites is Apollo Crews. I think he wasn't at this performance center for the whole day, and apparently he's got coronavirus. He's been tested.
Some say he's got coronavirus, and some just say he failed the medical. Obviously, they use a storyline of like Bobby Lashley using that full Nelson hold, which is like, okay, when did that did happen about how many weeks ago was that, and now you're only just bringing it up?
I know, but I mean, I think for me it's like, I just think it's like, if it was that he has coronavirus, and obviously if he does, hope he gets well soon, but just bring it up. I mean, I know it's like I think as much as AEW do it quite well, it's just like they bring it up. It's they make it. I know it's like we kind of like you don't want to bring out what's happening outside, but just it's obvious that it's affecting the show. So just bring it up if like someone's got it and say get well soon and stuff like that. Yeah,
I think in this instance, because there has been reports of some production team in WWE have been testing positive for coronavirus, yet they're still doing shows. I think it's just they're worried about bad optics. I mean, they've got a bad kind of rep anyway for, I guess, still doing the show, but I'm loving what AEW doing. I'm loving what New Japan do. I think so long as you're sticking to protocol and doing whatever you can, then shows should go ahead. I think that I have no problem with that.
No, I think it's the way treated. I think it's just like the way it's that you hear the reports WWE it's not treating there. And I guess the whole them all them sackings were sort of like putting people they had around about a time when everyone needs employment. And they're a company that's kind of you can't sit there and say they're losing money because they are, but they've got like millions and billions.
Yes,
they've still got money coming in, so I think that's why it looks differently. AEW is just like they've just handled it better, and other companies just handled it better. And obviously, I don't think AEW or like New Japan have like annoyed the fans as much as WWE do. So we kind of trust them more, I would say. We kind of they've earned our like trust, so like we give them more of the benefit of the doubt. And WWE, they've completely destroyed our trust over the years, so we don't trust them. So
no, absolutely we don't trust them. Yeah, we watch every week or every month.
Glutton for punishments we are, and also because we still love wrestling now, even if the company sucks. But yeah, I mean, one thing before we go into the I versus I match, what do you think of the new US title design?
Once again, it's the same issue they have with the Intercontinental title. The issue wasn't the title itself; it wasn't the belt. The issue was not making it prestigious. I mean, yeah, you changed the design, but it doesn't actually do anything. Especially if you've got like a really nice title like that. Classic Intercontinental title was gorgeous. The US title didn't look too bad. I thought that was okay. I don't think it needed changing at all. But going back to I'd say the 24/7 title when that came into effect, it was a dumb idea. It was basically like a rip-off kind of like hardcore title. But when you've got characters who actually want it, so say Drake Maverick, like really, really want it. That's what made it interesting and what made the title feel important. It's like, go on, get that title, go on, get it. It wasn't because it looks pretty, because the 24/7 title looks like it looks like a piece of crap. Yeah.
But it's like anyone says. It's like they say it's like a title is only important as the person chasing it. So it's like if a person chasing it says it's important, or like would do anything to obtain that title, it obviously proves that it's important. But yeah, it's like that title is it's just like they've done the whole thing. Well, we design it. It means it's different. It's like no, it's still quite. This is going to sound harsh, worthless at the moment. Until you actually decide to actually build it up as a credible, title again, you're going to have these problems. But yeah, I saw the design. It's not. I mean, I guess they're trying to go old school, like NWA type style, like 80s maybe, because that's what I was thinking of when I saw it.
I had one of the Impact World titles in my head for some reason. Don't know why, or like the UFC title or something like that.
No, I mean I think the only title that I remind you of the Impact one was the TNT one. That looks has similar kind of had a similar kind of design, I would say, the Impact World title and stuff. So, but yeah, and I was just trying to get your opinion on it because obviously we're a big fan of belts, especially good, well-designed belts. So, or straps, or
titles,
whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I mean, obviously, one day when I'm rich and famous and have money, I would love. It's one of my things. So I've always wanted to have a belt. So like, yeah, just like the title design's been rubbish at WWE for a long time. I mean, the only good titles here was the NXT UK titles. Like, their designs were really good.
Excuse me. Yeah, but I must be allergic to really bad titles, probably. Goodness me. Unless Apollo Crews
Well,
has passed something on to me, I don't know. But who knows?
Through them dodgy, you know what it is? It's them dodgy 5G.
Oh, it's
things
5G.
that are
Absolutely,
causing
it's
coronavirus. That's what it
5G.
is.
Absolutely.
It's all 5G's fault. Anyway. Anyway, but yeah, so let's go to the match that you could say was a bit, I wouldn't say controversial, but kind of like you were only kind of intriguing if they actually could pull it off, I would say. I was talking about the eye for an eye match between Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio. What were your thoughts going into this one? I gotta be honest. What were you thinking?
I could see the potential of it. Obviously, I was thinking about, okay, how can they make this work? Are they going to make this like a massive kind of gory fest? I imagine that they were going to do the similar steps angle. I would have loved them to have done something like quite more harrowing, horrific, especially when you've got that the screwdriver coming out. Like Randy Orton with his screwdriver and Jeff Hardy's ear like rings to mind. That was, oh god, that was yeah. And twisting it around, like, oh god, that was brilliant. What I was worried about them doing was if you looked at the end of the Hell in the Cell match between Bray Wyatt or the Fiend against Seth Rollins, where it's just blood kind of rushing out the mouth, it just looks dumb. I was worried about, like, but when they extract the eye, is it going to be like this like kind of big bloody gooey mess, or are they going to do something with CGI? But in the end, it kind of looked like it's something where they didn't really need to show anything, I guess. I mean, a little bit of blood on the towel, that would have been effective enough, and Seth Rollins' reaction. But it looked basically like it looked like a ping pong ball, I guess. When you looked at it, just like momentarily, it looked like a ping pong ball. And that didn't really need to happen when you just conceal it. I think that's all you need to do, and just let the character, let the actor, Rey Mysterio, let them sell it, let them tell the story. You know, less is more. Less is more sometimes. More of it. If something's being implied, it can be equally as impactful or more impactful. That's why you get a lot of like horror movies, say like apart from maybe the first one, like Saw, where there's a bit of thrills there, but then the rest of the time it's just gore, gore, gore. It just turns into a slasher film.
Yeah, and you don't. I get that. But at the top of my head, though, just thinking, we talk about Eye for an Eye, it's like about like didn't. I know I don't want to sound like AEW marks or anything, because we're not. But it's just like, didn't like Jericho or Moxley do something similar with an eye? And that kind of looked alright.
They did. And also, what I found interesting, but Stu and I, we won't go into any spoilers or results, but yesterday we took part in a debate series with the Savage Land podcast. And I brought up, the Championship Scramble, which happened at Unforgiven 2008, which was part of one of the debating questions. And in the promo building up to Jericho and Shawn Michaels, Shawn Michaels mentions the line about the only thing I'm concerned about is an eye for an eye, or about revenge, based on what Jericho had done to him, like over those past few months. Said an eye for an eye. I was like, okay, I just thought that was quite convenient.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. When you should check that when that comes out. By the way, if anyone's listening, when that stream,
yes,
check our Twitter about that, because it's worth watching that debate, because it was a load of fun to do. It's like when you got like what problem I have with this is like kind of like when it comes to wrestling, we always have this feeling. It's like we suspend our disbelief. But it has to be kind of plausible or possible. It's like first blood matches, you can do them, because obviously you can do the blade and all that stuff. But it's like eye for an eye. It's like how what is, as you said, it kind of, how can you do it without feeling goofy or feeling like you know? Because you could do it in movies, but in wrestling you kind of can't. I mean, I guess you got to try something new, but. I mean, you can take the seriousness of it, of when everyone being shocked, all the stuff on checking the doctors, all that kind of stuff. But no one was really concerned, because you shouldn't be, because you knew it. Because this is the times when it's like you knew it was. Well, not real, because no show would ever let someone take to a situation where someone eyeball comes out of their socket.
Unless you're wrestling New Jack or something like that.
Yeah, but that's legit. Yeah, that's actually real.
But I can see, obviously, no one is losing an eye, but in kayfabe, someone loses an eye. I can see both competitors like losing the match. I can see if you remember when Rey Mysterio used to wrestle in the early days, he had the eyes in his mask, they were covered up, but obviously you can still see, but you just can't see his eyes. He used to wrestle like that, so where he does them both, and then he just learns to wrestle blind, an instinct. Okay, that could be an interesting part there. Part of his mystique. His Mysterio, or potentially Seth Rollins being this messiah god-like figure, or this cult-like figure, I could see him wearing an eye patch. I honestly could. Very similar to, I think it's like, say, Beric in Game of Thrones, or Aaron Stauden's character in Mad Men, where you can make him look like a badass, but he kind of and looks like more of an evil character. I could potentially see both of them working.
Well, it could have worked for the whole sacrifice. Obviously, he's supposed to be a messiah. He's supposed to be like sacrifice himself for the cause. He's like, you know, I mean, it could have worked, but again, it's like the situation is, from what I've heard, is like, no one thought Ray was going to win this. I mean, the build up to this match, I give him credit, was quite good, especially with was it Damien? Dominik. That's what I'm thinking of. Yes, Dominik. He's really involved in this, to be fair, and he's looked really good. I mean, he's definitely got his father's talent when it comes to the high flying. He's definitely got that down.
Yeah, well, we saw that at the Royal Rumble, didn't we? Or was it Survivor Series?
Yeah, was just, but it's like you can see at one point they're going to try and properly integrate him into a proper, like, instead of his being Ray's sort of son, it'd be like he's Ray's. It'd be like Dominik Mysterio or something like that, or stuff like that. But it's crazy watching it, obviously, because I'm watching when you watch the Eddie Guerrero Rey Mysterio thing with the whole custody of him, and now look at him.
Yeah.
He's become like
become a man.
He's become all. He's all grown up now. He's all grown up. But yeah, I mean, except for obviously the stipulation. If you take away the stipulation, this was again really good match. Again, it's like expect nothing less from these two. Again, it's like it had everything. You had some nice use of like sort of like, you know, weapons, and instead of just using the weapons, using the corners of the weapons.
Yep.
To kind of like sort of tease, sort of like, you know, oh, we could use this to take the eye out, or this can take the eye out. There's, you know, something different.
Yeah, good use of environment, breaking the kendo stick. Yep, using those shards there. I've forgotten what the bloody thing's called now. The screwdriver, using the legs of the chair. There's a nice spot where Ray trips Seth Rollins into the corner of the steps. Oh, okay. That could be like momentarily kind of thing. That might have been actually interesting if this match was, say, like an Extreme Rules match, but Seth Rollins was. They could still go eye for an eye, like teasing, like, I'm going to rip your eye out. You can still have moments where they do try to do that, try and take each other's eyes out, and there's just a moment where one mistake and suddenly the match has to be stopped because Seth Rollins' eye's been gouged by the table. Now, it could potentially be one option rather than doing the gimmick, but it could still be implied that that's their intent, that's what they're trying to do or want to do. Yeah,
I mean, I guess with the was it Kendo, when he broke the kendo stick and he sort of like, I think on the apron, and he sort of like Ray sort of I think he got close to doing it, and then sort of like Seth was sort of like screaming like, oh my god, and like I thought, oh my god, is that it? I thought because he was holding his eye and he was proper like, you know, wasn't showing the ref, so I thought that was the ending, or that was what they were trying to do.
Yeah, there are three potential moments. There was in the corner of the table, there was the kendo stick, there was actually jamming Seth Rollins' eye into the steps.
Yeah, I mean, he had that, they've done it before, I think, in Hell in a Cell matches, but obviously, it the kendo stick in the corner, or like on the apron?
Yes.
Type thing. Obviously, they're never going to do it, because obviously that technically, that would actually take an eye out. But I mean,
Yeah.
but just it did. I'm not gonna say innovative because it's just it felt like they were properly trying to make this kind of silly concept work, and you can appreciate them for that. To be fair.
Yes.
But again, we talked about obviously what happened in the finish. But I mean, given some credit, the reaction of it was quite. Seth, like, you didn't see it, but it's like when Seth saw it and he's just like, he was going to be sick, and he was sick. Well,
yeah,
fake sick anyway. But yeah, it's just like, and the way sort of people react, I give them, some credit for that. But again, it's like, I wasn't at the end of it looking at it going, oh my God. It's just like, this is ridiculous. There's so much cooler ideas they could have done. They could have done, like I said, first blood match. Or like, I don't know, I Quit match or something like that. Because then
an I Quit match.
well, think about it. If it Ray's sort of there's rumours that his contract runs out in a month.
Yeah.
So that could have worked because isn't Seth's whole thing at the moment doing sort of like trying to say sacrificing for the cause, and obviously Ray sacrificed himself. Yeah. So maybe it could have done a thing where he's finally put him in a stipulation where I don't want to say take him out or just like put in makes him quit. And he goes. And then Seth can still have that heat and say he sacrificed himself or something.
Yeah, he can still have that heat, but still play the shock and the give me sympathy, give me empathy. It's like, I didn't want to do that, but Ray brought it on himself. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's just, I think for me, it's like the stipulation brought down the match. Because it's like, you weren't watching just a match, you're thinking, okay, how are they going to get this working? How are they going to do it?
Yeah.
But if it was a regular match, if you take regular match, the action part of it is great.
Yeah. And bear in mind, there's been a lot of brawls at the last couple of weeks. Like one example where I think it was Aleister Black and Humberto Carrillo had like Seth Rollins like completely surrounded in the ring, and they tried to take his eye out. Where was Buddy Murphy? Where was Austin Theory? Where was Aleister Black? Where was Kevin Owens? Where was Humberto Carrillo? Where was Dominik?
It's a good point. Actually, it's like it would have been. I mean, in this kind of match, you could have had like a clusterfuck. Could have had like all these people running in. I mean, it would have sucked. It would have sucked. It would have took it back, but it would have made sense. Yeah. I mean, Seth's not exactly. He's more of a. He's mixed between like he is sadistic, but he's kind of a guy just like half the time he just uses his disciples to win. Half of the time, anyway. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, as I said it before, it's just like the match, the action was good. What they had, they did the best they could, but it's just that finish. I was like, it was cringe for me. In some ways,
it wasn't cringe, but so long as it wasn't like comedically cringe, I thought for most part I thought it was okay. Could they have done it better? Yes. Could it have been a hell of a lot worse? Absolutely.
It was meh.
It was. No, it's all right. And when you think about it, it's Ray didn't lose both his eyes. He lost the eye which was already damaged as well, or the one he couldn't see out of anyway.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just for me, just don't do eye versus eye for an eye matches, please. Can this just be a one-shot deal?
Yeah.
I get it. You got to innovate when it comes to wrestling, because obviously everything's been done to death now. But
yeah,
I don't know. I could understand some people just be like not being not overlooking this match because obviously the stipulation was too ridiculous for them. They'd be like, why am I watching this? This is ridiculous.
I think a stipulation that would have worked, which I watched the other day, is actually going back to the US title we were talking about earlier. They're showing some of the greatest matches for the US title. And you mentioned the I Quit match as well. I mean, it's an I Quit match. There's play on words there. But you've got so much outside interference as well. It's Extreme Rules. Why not do as they did? I can't remember what event it was, but it was, I believe, Tully Blanchard against Magnum TA, I think. They did an I Quit match inside they did a I Quit match inside a steel cage.
That could work. Or it could be a situation. It's like obviously they would never use blood in some way. I got this. Got to be this is the kind of match where kind of blood would have worked. because it was that kind of personal kind of match. That, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, just would have been. It would have helped. But yeah, I mean, that could have worked. But I guess with that, getting the steel cage in that performance center.
Well, you can build like a war pit or whatever it was called, or Lions Den they did for NXT. That would have been cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that actually was pretty cool. Actually, I gotta be honest, that was a good match by the way as well. But yeah, I mean, it's what I'm saying is like I give them creativity. They could have done something that didn't sort of put the. What's the word I'm for? It's like you know, like they do this all the time when they put themselves into a corner and they sort of have to find a ridiculous. This is a kind of like they could have thinked of a better match where it didn't have to resort to something like this. Could have got the same effect of obviously taking out Ray and then sort of making Seth look like a devious heel without doing a match like this and still being like a revenge type story. But yeah, it is what it is.
It could have been a hell of a lot worse. And they said, okay, we're doing an eye versus eye match. They tried to work the best with it. They could have done crap CGI. They could have been melodramatic special effects and performance. But, I mean, you could say the vomit was a little bit melodramatic, but it could have been a hell of a lot worse. I thought it was okay. Like, if you take away the stipulation, the match was fun as well. Yeah.
I mean, it's just, but the stipulation did definitely put it down.
If you didn't know it was an eye versus eye match and you just thought it was an Extreme Rules match, but they were trying to take each other's eyes out, it'd been fine.
Yeah, no, actually, then it would have been. Yeah, it would have been fine. Because I said I was enjoying what was going on. It's just, it was just through the match you were waiting for. Okay, how are they going to do it? How are they going to do it? And that kind of, and for me, it like kind of takes enjoyment out. Yeah, for me, anyway. Yeah. Maybe some other people might enjoy it, but yeah. So. Yeah, I got a feeling we talked about that way longer than I was anticipating. But
I agree.
Yes, so now we're going to a us talking about a subject.
Have you
for
only
way
just
too
got
long.
that?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm slow, you know.
Did you just miss my brilliant pun? Did you not see what I did there?
No, I did not see what you did. I'm slow, remember?
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, God, typical
dear.
me there. You know, I'm always slow.
I should teach you about puns. You can be my pupil.
Yeah, you know, once.
I want to roll here.
Oh God. Anyway, let's get back to the discussion points, my friend.
Yes.
But yes, now after this we had obviously the second women's title match, the Raw title match between obviously Asuka and Sasha Banks. I think the story for this, if I remember from what I've looked up, is like basically there's kind of like a riot. Was it sort of like Sasha Banks sort of is feeling a bit like left out because she's only got like the tag team titles, so she wants a title, and obviously, unless I'm wrong, I mean, unless was it? Oh yeah, I forget. It's fine because they're both on Raw and SmackDown. It's fine, but yeah, it's I think she just wanted to go for a title, and the only major title was Asuka, so I'm guessing she went for that.
Yep.
But I don't know the story. But if you talk about on paper, this was always going to be a good match.
Absolutely on paper, yeah. And in the build-up, I completely forgot this match or like how good this match could be. And you realise, like going into it, it's like, oh yeah, we're getting Asuka versus Sasha. This is going to be really good.
Yeah, it's just like you forget that. It's just like okay, what you clock on, you go, oh crap, yeah, Asuka versus Sasha Banks. It should be amazing, and to its credit, it was.
Yeah, I think so. This is enjoyable.
Really good. I mean, it's a good, but I would say it had that NXT feel to it. You know, like kind of like where they do NXT matches, women's matches. Yeah, it did feel like that. You know.
Yeah. What I liked about it as well is that they gave it time. I think this match ran 18, 20 minutes.
Yeah, what you expect from a good length of time to just sort of like. I think it's like just let them do their thing.
Yep, just let them fight.
Yeah, and it was great. I mean, it's just like it did have that kind of like again like NXT style, sort of like hard hitting, sort of like good like counters of counters. Because kind of counter moves that they all did, Sasha and Asuka did was really good and very slick, if that's the word I'm looking for. But yeah, so it was just like you always like them kind of matches where it's counter after counter or like sort of that kind of stuff.
because we know Asuka is very like strong style, very hard hitting, and Sasha, like, especially early days when everyone was really hot on Sasha and she was feuding with Charlotte, where she was basically like the Dolph Ziggler of not in terms of like character, but in terms of like selling. Like, she could sell, like, almost to the point like, oh my god, how you actually hurt yourself. Like, please do not die.
Well, how many times she did them like suicide dives they used to do, and everyone was like, stop doing them. We don't want you to die. It's like, I think she stopped them now, but
I still had that with Big E as well. It's like, I know this happened like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, but just don't do suicide dives anymore.
Please don't. We like you, Big E. It's like we like you, Big E. We want you to stay. Please stay alive.
Yes.
Don't do anything risky. But yeah, I mean, what did this match have? I mean, it's all kinds of
a good
stuff.
finish.
Well, there's that. Well, I want to talk about the good stuff before the bad stuff. To
Okay.
be fair. Because as much as I want to just rant about that finish was a complete clusterfuck and completely rubbish. I mean,
And overshadowed what they did, but yeah.
But hey, but yeah, I mean, it has good stuff. I mean, you had that. What was it? What was it that really cool, like sort of power bomb sort of thing she did onto like the board on Sasha? That was quite cool on the outside.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of that, of throwing competitors into the plexiglass, but to us, that's smart use of environment.
Yeah, well, it's there. It's probably more safer to do it that way, obviously, because obviously now it's got some of the land on, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I was talking about counters of counters. You had that cool thing where they did the superplex, or the German, Asuka was trying to do a German suplex on Sasha, and the cool thing, she flipped. It was quite cool. She kind of like done the flip and like countered it.
Yep.
And then she's kind of run and done sort of that knee she does in the corner. But it was just like that kind of transition into that kind of like, she countered the suplex and then done that. Was really good. Yeah, it just like all the sort of thing where it's like I think she did another German suplex on the ropes on the side. And it sort of chucked her in and sort of like went into an Oscar lock.
Yep.
Like that kind of stuff. So them kind of like transitions I liked a lot. There was a lot of good transitions into like sort of like, you think she's got the upper hand, and then obviously Oscar may like turn it around and sort of like just find a way to get the Oscar lock on or something like that. But yeah, I mean, but again, as much as there was a lot of good in this, we've got to talk about that finish.
We do have to talk about that finish. That's the only thing I can think of, which is really annoying, because I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I did have mental notes about elements I enjoyed. I mean, we've already spoken about them, and you mentioned a couple of them there, and there were a few others as well, but I can't remember, because all I can think about is this finish. They could have put this a hell of a lot better as well.
Yeah.
They really could have done. Obviously, like, you don't want Asuka, say, like, tapping out. Like, that's like a no-no. Like a roll-up would have been like sufficient, I think. Or just clocking Asuka with the belt, and then that face cup on that Bayley does, like, potentially working as well. Bayley doing the pins, like, just because you're wearing a referee shirt, really?
It's not legit. It's not legit. I mean, I think
no.
Well, obviously it's not, but it's just like the way they were sort of like acting shocked. Like, oh, well, is that legal? It's like, no, it's not legal. She's not a ref.
But then they rang the bell. It's like, no, don't ring the bell.
It's like, what are you trying to do? It's like, I mean, the whole situation, we had the bit where obviously near the end we had like sort of like the usual sort of like, near the end, looks like Asuka's going to win it. Chuck the belt in. Do the whole thing where it's sort of like, the ref is distracted by like Bayley, and then she's got the belt. And then when that didn't work, it's sort of like distract the ref. Or if that didn't work, and then you've got Asuka doing the whole setting up for the green mist. I thought that was going to be it. Sort of comeuppance, but obviously she countered that. Poor ref got mist in his eyes. Poor guy. Yeah.
Or if they had, or if that happened, like the spray happens to the referee, Asuka goes down. She can still get caught by the belt. Sasha goes for the pin. Asuka's got it won, but the referee rings the bell. Disqualification. Sasha and Bayley will go ape shit. Go, no, we had the pin. And then they just demand rematch. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, or you could do, like, I thought when he done the miss thing, when Asuka missed the ref, I'm sure that's a DQ. Tap the ref.
That would be that would be a DQ. But it's not like the heel winning that way, because the face did it. The heels who cheated earlier on that night, they get some kind of comeuppance. They feel like they've been like absolutely screwed out. The reactions from Bayley and Sasha would have been glorious, like harassing the referee who can't fucking see. Just leave me alone.
and also, it could have started a whole like sort of maybe storyline if you want to keep that sort of Sasha Banks and Bayley turn on each other. You can always go like Sasha Banks saying, "I had that match won. I had that match won until you got involved."
Yeah.
Or it's just like all kinds of variations. And then it's like she took the shirt off the guy or the ref, put it on, done the pin, and everyone's like, okay, what's going on? And then it's like everyone's like, okay, she must be champ. It's like, no, she's not. It's not legit. Why did this need to be controversial? Okay, I just don't get it. It's like they didn't know how to finish it, so they went for the cheap, screwy finish.
Yeah, I can understand why Paul Heyman, like say running in and counting the 1, 2, 3 for Rob Van Dam to win the WWE Championship, because he's sort of an official, sort of a manager, so he has that kind of authority.
Well, he runs the company. It's like the guy's in charge. It's like that's why it makes sense.
Yeah,
but it's like Bayley's got no power whatsoever, so she shouldn't. So no.
But I thought she who had the goal had the power, but no, not quite. Not that kind of power.
No, you have the power that everyone's eye on you, the spotlight's on you, but not that you can do your own counts and all that kind of stuff to win matches. I mean, it's bad and controversial in the worst possible way. I know that good controversy can be like in wrestling can be good, and can make you want to watch the show the night after. But in this case it doesn't, because it derails sort of Asuka's sort of like, goodwill she's got from obviously Becky Lynch, like sort of handing her the keys and sort of like giving her like she's passing the torch to her.
Yep.
And it sort of like derails her, because it's like, well, she's now lost the title in 2-3 months since that. Yep. In some rubbish fashion. And also it doesn't, in some ways it doesn't make sense for Sasha Banks to win the title or have the title, because then it was more of a story going on with if Sasha loses the opportunity to beat Asuka because of Bayley, would have been more of a story. It could have built on that, but they went for this. Not a fan. I could say it spoils it, really. I mean, it's as you said, it's great stuff, but just they always say you can always have a good. It's like in a film, is that you have all the film's great, but if you don't land the finish, the ending, it can ruin the whole thing.
Absolutely.
And in this case, it's 100%. Yeah, I think it ruins it, and that's pretty sad, because this was really good. It's really going well.
I can think of one positive. We get a Asuka and Sasha Banks rematch.
Yeah, I've got in my nice little pre-prep notes. I did put that saying on the plus side. At least we're getting.
At least we get this. Yeah.
But there's better ways to set that up, mate. Seriously, I mean, how many times we've done this over the last 3 years now? We've said, "Oh, I like that, but they could have set that up better. They could have done that better." Mm-hmm. Can I have a time when I just like I watch this match and say, you know what, I like that finish. That was a really good finish. Ah, good God. But yeah, I mean, again, it's the only good thing, I guess, unless we have a thing on Raw, obviously, prior to this recording, obviously, Raw hasn't happened yet. It's that thing where it's like a title match on Raw and Asuka wins it back or something, or like the authority or whoever's in charge says, no, give her back the title or something stupid like that.
Yep.
But
or let's go, actually, the title's vacant. It's like, wait, Asuka never lost the championship.
No, she didn't. The match technically didn't finish in some ways, because no official.
It's still going on.
The longest Raw Women's Championship match of all time.
Yeah. Well, I think Maven's still in the 2002 Royal Rumble. So.
What was it? Curtis Axel. Well, is he still in the Royal Rumble as well?
I think he got thrown out a couple of years after, so I think that storyline ended. I'm not quite sure, but I, as far as I'm aware, Maven's still in the Rumble.
Oh god, I love that. But yeah, so rubbish. Good match. Great. You could say probably possibly a great match until the ending. So
Yeah.
but oh well. If the next match they don't screw up in the rematch, if there's gonna be a rematch. It's funny enough, there's no SummerSlam's coming up, so
Yeah.
if they just keep that without having stupid endings like this, then
Yep.
I'll be okay with it. So, but yeah, rubbish ending. But yeah, so now we go on to the WWE Championship match, where you had Drew McIntyre going against. We normally don't want in matches like this. Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
I mean, normally I would have a problem with this, but again, there was story there in some ways because obviously they used to be partners.
There's that to it, but there's the problem of someone just asking for a title match without actually having not earned anything, constantly lost or been away for ages. We only have to look back. We have to look at his last world title feud against Kofi Kingston. His whole thing was, "It should have been me," but you weren't here. It should have been me. Yeah, but you were not here. You didn't. You've done nothing. Yeah.
What's the story in this one? Oh, you owe your success to. What if anything's about him? Your success is because of me. It's like,
yeah, I don't remember you helping me eliminate Brock Lesnar from the Royal Rumble, eliminate Reigns from the Rumble to go into WrestleMania, and then beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. I don't remember you playing a part in that. Oh yeah, because you weren't there again.
just disappeared.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the oldest trick in the book, isn't it? When you got a mentor-mentee type situation with these wrestling. It's like, well, you're big because I brought you here, because I made you, and. I mean, that so all your success and all the talent is because of me. It's like, but no Dolph. I mean, the only thing, take away the sort of when you think if you're bored of Dolph Ziggler, the kind of feeling that going into this match you didn't know what the stipulation was, kind of gave it some sort of you wanted to see it. I mean, it was a good idea. I liked it. Drew's so confident that he could beat the Ziggler that he just said, "You pick the match. I'll beat you anyway." I think again that's really good because obviously it just really it kind of as much as you don't want to see Dolph Ziggler in some matches, it still gives you that kind of feeling. Okay, I've got to watch this just to see what the match might be. Yeah,
if I was Dolph, maybe I would have gone for a ladder match, maybe. But yeah, the stipulation worked. You've got to have it's an Extreme Rules pay per view. You've got to have an Extreme Rules match. We didn't have it. But the added stipulation of Drew was not allowed to use weaponry. Otherwise he'd be disqualified and lose the title, and he could also lose the title by count out. Yep, that's smart from Ziggler.
Well, it's wasn't that what a heel would do? If you're a heel and you can choose any match stipulation you wanted, wouldn't you do that? That's exactly what a good heel would do.
Yeah, that's what Regal was doing. Duchess of Queensberry rules was just making up the rules as you go along to suit you, to fit you.
Oh god, I got to talk about that. I got to watch that match again.
Mr. Regal. We talk about Mr. Regal. We love Mr. Regal.
Oh yeah, we do. I mean, I got to watch that because I do love that kind of thing. He thinks he wins, and then all of a sudden, oh no, that is not due to Queensberry rules. That does not count. It's like, you bastard. I gotta go back to that. I might watch that after we do this review again. That'd be good to watch. Anyway, but yeah, so I love that. I mean, my first reaction was it was when he said it's going to be an Extreme Rules match, and I was like, oh, that's original. And then he was but only I can use it. Only the stipulation only works for me, not you. And I'm like, oh, that's actually really smart. It's actually really cool. Mm-hmm. And to be fair, it's set up a really good match. It was because it's the storytelling is brilliant, because Dolph is basically he can do anything he wants.
Yeah.
And Drew was sort of you got the chair off Ziggler. He's like, I can't hit him with the chair. He tries. There's a table set up. He tries to suplex him on the outside. Can't slam him for the table. It's it makes him. In some sense, from the get go, it's the heel has all the power. The face is in a slightly disadvantage.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it just made for an interesting contest, I would say. And it's just you kind of thought would all this odds stacked against Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, would it eventually be too much for him? Obviously, no, in a million years thought, no, Dolph's not winning the WWE title.
Yeah.
But it was too fun. It was weird. Again, I've been saying that a lot for this review. It's like, it was just fun.
There's only two real things I would change. So first off, if someone just asked for the title match, you give it to them. I just find it completely lazy. Like at least win a match, at least win a battle royal or something.
What the old number one contender matches?
Yeah, at least do something like that. It only takes one match, 1 week, nice and easy. Secondly, I'd love them to have done more with Drew, like potentially like retaliating and using a weapon. Obviously, he wants it to be a surprise. But if they mentioned it like in the build, saying, "Oh, I named stipulation," say the contract signing. I mean, you could have added another bonus there as well, where contract signing. Yeah, he names a stipulation where in the match, if you get counted out, you lose the title. If you get disqualified, you use the title. Also, before the match, if you lay a finger on me or whatever, you will also lose the title. And then Ziggler can just like
taunt him.
Taunt him.
Yeah.
I mean, Drew is known as the Scottish psychopath, and yet we haven't really seen anything psychopathic about him yet, especially as a face, really.
No, I get that. I mean, again, I guess it's his opponent. I guess that brings out the worst in you.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, we're talking about why we're just briefly here. It's like talking about Drew. Like, it's like I can't pronounce it. I think we said it before last time we talked about when we watched the last time match. Yeah, it's like I'm really been impressed by the way they've booked him and the way he's been in. Like I haven't seen a bad title match yet.
He hasn't had a bad title match, not at all. He's doing a great job, as I thought he would be.
It's a nice change.
It makes a nice change, and he's going against like credible opponents or people he's had like history with. That match with Bobby Lashley, for okay, well Drew's going to win. There's no way going to put on Lashley, but they included the element of like injury and the surprise attack beforehand with the full Nelson. They're really making it work. I'm really impressed with what Drew's doing, but also what WWE are doing with it as well. Yeah,
I mean, I'm just normally you have the like new stars. You expect a certain level of booking from WWE, or the old kiss of death when you win the title. Yeah. They just forget about you and not book you well. But in this case, it's just like I think it's been such a long time since I've seen a WWE champion that has been booked like and actually you look at him going, damn, he deserves to be champion. It's like, yeah, he's been booked like he is a champion.
Yeah, he looks $1 million as well.
Yeah, I mean,
he looks great.
I haven't seen anyone like that. Well, I mean, even it's like the Kofi situation. It's like we loved that he won it, but they never treated him like he was a WWE champion. In the sense of like the way he booked him. In this case, just like the Seth match was great. The Bobby Lashley match was surprisingly really good. And then obviously this one was like you think, Dolph Ziggler, but you forget Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler actually is pretty good in the ring.
Of course.
Well, the reason we don't like Dolph because he's like the stop-start pushes, and it's just like his time has gone past him by. Yep. So his credibility's gone down the toilet. But I mean. It's just like you forget he's a great seller. The guy is like he can sell like tomorrow. You can see why people are sitting there for years saying he's like Shawn Michaels sort of like thing because he's like Shawn Michaels can sell too properly well. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we forget how good Dolph is in the ring, and he is kind of like a good. At the moment, it is time to create enhancement talent. So sort of like put him against someone, and he always makes them look good. And in this case, he did.
Yep.
But I mean, okay, got to talk about that. Oh, I love that finish. That finish with the whole thing. He was just about to do the super kick, and he ran right into a Claymore kick. Yeah, I mean that looked lovely, loving that.
It's desperation. It sells. I mean, the Claymore's protected kind of anyway. I'm not a fan of the countdown, as I mentioned before. 3, 2, 1. I like it when it's just like an RKO, bang, just out of nowhere. You can just hit it. Yeah,
I love how it always is. It's why the RKO is so popular because everyone's just like, boom, it hits out of nowhere.
They came at each other at velocity as well. It looked good.
It looked great. I mean, it's just like it's fun. Funny thing is, it's refreshing when you've had like a show that's had a bit of interesting finishes. It was actually nice to see a finish. It's like, damn, that was a nice finish. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, again, it's this is really good. I mean, it seems to be, as much as I want to go and just rant how boring or rubbish this show is,
I don't think it is.
But it's really, I mean, I'm not going to say it's like world class or anything, but it's like, it's just fun. It's just like the matches were good quality, and it was enjoyable to watch. And this was another example of that. It's just like they a nice little twist on the stipulation. I haven't seen that before in a while, anyway.
Yeah.
It lent towards interesting story. It perfect example of the heel and the face situation, where like the heel has all the power, the face is always a disadvantage, and he still wins. And and it just proves that Dolph, was it Drew? I mean, is it's just a great. He's turning into a real. They could, if they finally may have found that guy that can finally be the face. That when the fans come back, I think the fans will be totally behind him.
Yeah,
they might have finally found that guy.
They may have done. This is it's been written, I guess, written in stone, I guess, for a while. Like Drew was going to come back. He was going to better himself, and he did. He came back with Dolph, looked great. NXT beforehand had a great run there, teasing like his potential. Unfortunately, there was an injury which sidetracked him, which happened to be a happy accident, especially for Andrade, because that showcased him.
Yeah.
I'm really happy for Drew, especially he's doing such a good job.
Yeah, it's just in a company that's like known for like completely botching and screwing up pretty much every push there is, most of the time anyway. It's just refreshing to see someone they're pushing and it actually just it feels like they're doing right by him.
Yeah,
and especially in a pandemic, when sort of like, I guess when it's like no fans, you kind of judge if it's going well for him.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm optimistic when the fans can come back that they're going to be fully behind him. And yeah, it'd be fine. It'd be fine nice to have a champion or sort of like a superstar you can believe in again, and sort of like and actually book him well. But loved it, loving Drew's run at the moment. So please, more of the same, please.
Who does he go against next, do you reckon?
That's a good point. I mean, the only thing I can think of, just because obviously SummerSlam's rolling along, and obviously I got a feed that with the Rey Mysterio thing, that's going to drag that for a couple of months. I mean, I know they've already done a match with Seth, but you could. It's SummerSlam's like it's kind of one of the biggest part of the summer type stuff. So maybe have him against Seth, because he can do, and he can sort of Seth can sort of say, "Yeah, I've lost that match," but like the old saying, "Well, I know I can beat you," or like, kind of like I've got rid of a distraction I've had with Ray. Now I can focus back on getting that title I want.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and I can see that happening. I mean, again, you can do Kevin Owens, but again, it would feel kind of rushed. I think Seth's the only one that's been pushed consistently that would be credible to keep that kind of good run going for Drew to have good opponents.
Yeah.
So I would say Seth, but I can't. Anybody else you think? On top of your head?
I'd like them to do it could be a nice disciplined kind of fight of them, Drew against Aleister Black. They've got some similarities. They're very disciplined, but they can be really aggressive. They've got some great strikes, and they've got two finishes where you hit it, boom, that's it, game over.
Yeah, I mean, again with that situation, it's more of building him up to sort of be a credible threat. If it was just a one-on-one match where it's just like the title's not on the line, I could totally I love that. But it's just like, again, it's booking. Credible threats.
In all honesty, what's most likely going to happen because of the injury to Edge, and they're doing an angle with Orton and Big Show on Raw, I wouldn't be surprised if they put Drew against Orton. I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised, but then again, I wouldn't be totally against it either. Because it's like, I think in this situation, Drew has sort of like earned myself to trust that he can sort of make this match good. And Randy Orton can, if with the right kind of style, like right kind of person. And I think, I could see. I'm just happy with Drew at the moment. So I think he could make this a Randy Orton match work, I would say.
Yeah.
And it's like you got Randy Orton and Seth Rollins. I think the only ones that I think's been booked to be credible. That could really take on that title. I mean, again, I'm coming from a situation now. I don't watch Raw and SmackDown, or Raw, but I can kind of guess from like stuff I've watched that they're the only two that's like credible. So, but yeah, I would say Randy Orton or Seth, I guess, as you said. So
Yeah.
now we get to the main event. The main event. And what a shocker! It's another cinematic match.
There's always one.
Yes. And what a shocker! It's the Wyatt Swamp fight or match, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of a fight, really. It's not a match, but we're going to count it as a match between obviously Universal Champion Braun Strowman and the Eater of Worlds Bray Wyatt.
And the Universal title is not on the line.
Yes, that was good choice because obviously this rivalry is not about the title anyway. So, but yeah, I mean, again, cinematic match, another one. It seems to be like our worst fears are being realised here, where they're doing too many of these matches. But again, it's like, what's your thoughts on this one? I mean, it's like we can go through each bit, but I'm just like the overall thoughts first, just because it's fake. I was trying to write stuff about this, but I just couldn't. I couldn't get my head around it. It's like, what was I watching?
I'd liked some of the mind game kind of elements. I would have quite liked if they just did a Firefly Funhouse, because if you do a Firefly Funhouse, it's not technically a match, but it's more of like a character study, and like kind of going back in time and then taking him into the swamp. Obviously taking him out of his comfort zone. I enjoyed, particularly when he was looking at himself, like the old version of himself wearing the mask and knocks him out with the shovel. What they did with Alexa Bliss, that was a nice little callback as well.
Yeah, it was nice, yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. There's quite a bit of rambling from Bray when Braun Strowman was tied down by the chains. Thought that one a little bit too long. There's beating up lots of goons. I'm not quite sure who the goons were. He set one of them on fire, and it was a very strange reaction.
Yeah, it's like sort of like he's evil. You're on fire. It's like okay, you're the good guy, right? Okay, but yeah, you're right. It's just again, it's like when it comes to Bray Wyatt, he kind of has his kind of like when it comes to cinematic matches, it's the same stuff. It's mind games. It's kind of like looking at a character, and he kind of had these moments in this match. I mean the bit with the whole like he caught him, and it had the bit with the tied up and obviously doing the rants. Sort of like I created you. I'm so proud of you. If you just join me again, we can, I'll take over this place and that. I mean, I like that. I can see it went a bit longer than it probably should, but it's like I can't get enough of Bray Wyatt just promoing. So, I mean, it's obvious in this match that they had heavy influence over 80s horror films.
Yeah, they said as well. I think that Vince McMahon had no input, which I think was evident.
Yeah, it didn't have anything ridiculous. Well, it did have stuff ridiculous, but it didn't have anything goofy, in my opinion, anyway. But yeah,
there was like cliche horror, like Bray's gone, he's not in the boat anymore. Oh, surprise! Bray is thrown into the swamp. Braun goes, "It's over," and then you've got the little logo, the credit logo at the end. No, it's not. We've been here, we've done that. It's not the end. Surprise, surprise! Bray Wyatt pops up mandible claw out of the water. And the fight continues. Well,
I got a bit off with the boat bit, with the bit when he was in the boat and then he went back. I was thinking, are they going to do a Friday the 13th on us? The bit with the because I think it had a whole this 80s horror film. It's like that's one of the most iconic pictures when he's in the boat, and then he thought they've got him, and then all of a sudden he comes out of the water and grabs him, and it's like, and then he did it right at the end. It was like, okay, yes, but. I gotta be honest, until the Fiend came out, I was like, so did technically Bray win?
I'm guessing so.
Win by murder, that's a new one.
Win by drowning. But is that swamp like the kind of lake of reincarnation? Like does Braun come back as the heel, as the monster? Now
I was kind of like, I gotta be honest, I kind of want to. Maybe it's just me. I love a kind of story where it's just like Bray sort of like convinces him or like sort of brainwashes him to come back, and like they team up with like because you can still use the sort of like sort of the Bray Wyatt, the sort of happy-go-lucky kind of like Bray Wyatt, like kids like sort of presenter type thing, and Braun can just be like sort of the old Braun, where it's like, but he's so like hypnotic or something. They've found a way to brainwash him or something. Because then I don't know. It could have been a long-term storyline type thing.
Yeah, I'd see like a potential kind of element with say it's a Firefly Funhouse. You've got all the characters, and so you've got like a closet or a cupboard, or like a door. It's like, no, we don't go in that door. You don't want to go in there. And it's just implied that Braun's down there and he's mad. He's very, very angry. He's basically being locked up in a dungeon.
Well, pretty much. Well, that would be cool because it's like, again, it's just like we dragged the story. Because some people, I mean, I've seen some things like some say this don't like this story. It's like this the feud. I'm loving it because it's got so much. Is the word meat with it? Like meat, like it has a lot of there's a lot of stuff.
It's got
history.
It's got context. And I loved what they did with the Firefly Funhouse at WrestleMania with John Cena. I thought it was perfect. I mean, that was polarizing as well. It wasn't a match, it wasn't this, but it did everything that you wanted as a hardcore wrestling fan. This happened. We're pissed off that this happened. Oh, they've referenced that. Oh, they've referenced that as well. That's brilliant. Oh, that's a nice little dig. Going back to digs, actually, in the promo to the in the match with Bray Wyatt doing like this spooky kind of vampire scientist kind of character. He goes, show you something really horrifying. And it goes back to 2 weeks ago when they had that god-awful karaoke contest.
and I think, I love that. And it's like, I saw what you did. I know what you did, and I don't like it. And it's just like...
Yeah. Naughty rambling rabbit.
I give him credit for that. He took the mick. They understood that thing was god-awful, and he took the mick out of it. That's quite good.
Yeah, I like that.
But... Yeah, but what I don't know. It's like it has some. Again, it has everything you have in like these kind of Bray Wyatt sewer matches. Look at the past, mind games, character studies on people. But I don't know if it felt short.
It was, though, especially when as I mentioned earlier, the match was rumored to be about half an hour long. It ran for 18 minutes, something like that.
It should have been. I know some people have like, I don't want a match, but it's like there was so much more they can do. With this, I don't know if they cut a lot of stuff out. I don't know if it's
there were moments in like Braun's story they could have like, things that may have like haunted Braun or things that he's done. Like for example, they could have done. I think there was a moment like towards the end when they had the children in the creepy children at the end there. Like one of them could have been Nicholas, maybe.
That's proper. Damn it! That would have been. That's proper dark. That.
Or imagine imagine on the boat where Bray Wyatt, he's on the boat, he floats away and he comes back. It's like, oh, he's gone, but he's not gone. Nicholas is in the boat, but it's like the corpse of Nicholas. Like, oh god.
I mean, that's next level dark, mate. I mean, I think for me it was just nice to see that Bray Wyatt again. I mean, I kind of like the whole thing. It's like at the moment, it's just like he's obviously. I like with the promo stuff. It was like he was going up talking about. It's like I'm not going to go back there again. And I kind of like that. It kind of insinuated that he found his way to get released from the back of the mind of like Bray, the old Bray Wyatt. Was it this new Bray Wyatt? Where it's like he's found a way to like he's subconscious to come back, and he's like I'm never going back. But obviously he did. But I kind of like that it just shows that it's like, again, Bray Wyatt's character's got so much layers. The guy's basically a schizophrenic that's got multiple personalities.
Yes.
And it sounds really sick. I love it. I love every minute of it. It's got... when was the last time we had a character this depth? This much depth? Depth is the word I'm looking for.
I don't know. Can't think off the top of my head. Probably the Undertaker, I guess.
Yeah, it's just like it's kind of embracing sort of like... It's like... It's kind of got... I think about it, like... It's got like kind of the Mick Foley in some ways because it's like you've got multiple characters, but they kind of they acknowledge them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously was it Mick Foley the same thing. It's like he's had 3 different like characters: Jack, Jude Love, and obviously Mick Foley or Mankind. I mean, and it's sort of like they acknowledge it. And this one it does. I just like that it proves that the guy's like the kind of he's been trapped in the back of his mind. I just love it. So. But it's only a little thing. But it should have been longer, and
there was more to explore of Braun, I think.
Yeah, I got to be interesting. So he's dead, right? he just technically got drowned by, and he's no one to be seen. I mean,
we'll see you next week on SmackDown. Oh, excuse me.
Don't do sort of like, technically Undertaker killed AJ and then a week later he's back, and there's no effect, and there's no effects of basically being buried alive.
Nope.
I mean, this obviously setting up a Fiend versus Braun Strowman match at SummerSlam.
Quite possibly.
Yeah, I mean, again, the Braun probably will lose a title. That I wouldn't be against again, but. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, again, it was better than the other cinematic matches I've seen in the last couple of months.
I think it was a hell of a lot better than the parking lot brawl. I think probably either the parking lot brawl was the worst one, or the Street Profits against the Viking Raiders. But the Street Profits against Viking Raiders, it started off pretty well, and then ninjas on motorbikes appeared. And then it just got dumb.
Silly. It is unnecessarily silly. Where it's just like the old confused. If it was a cartoon, there'd be all the question marks at the top of your head going, "What? What's going on here?" But I mean, this is back to form when it comes to like the cinematic matches with like what I like about them. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think the best cinematic matches I've seen WWE is obviously the Undertaker AJ. The John Cena Bray Wyatt one, and obviously this one.
Yeah,
but
and you could different promotion obviously, but the Stadium Stampede was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, I think that's up there like top 2. I would say top 3. Yeah, definitely, because that was. I want to go back to that again as well. That was fun. Yeah. I love that as well. But yeah, it's just I know it's like a pandemic, but they've seriously got to stop putting these every they've got to calm them down. Only use them for stuff like this when it kind of needs, where like people can make them work. Build
the gimmick, make it work. I mean, Money in the Bank, the concept of it's they've got to climb up the corporate ladder, that worked. Could they have pulled it off a hell of a lot better? Yeah.
It was too fun.
The 5-5 on the house, perfect. Boneyard match, that worked as well. The swamp gimmick worked. I think it had a lot more potential, a lot more to explore with Braun's backstory, and not just with Bray Wyatt, but his career. I mean, look at Braun. He was booked like a monster. Like, everyone loved him. We didn't want Reigns. They could have pulled the trigger on him so many times, and they never did. And then everyone lost hope in Braun.
That could have been a way of kind of convincing him to turn.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's just little things, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, I was just there has been better of these cinematic matches, but this is definitely kind of better than the ones they've had before previously.
Better than their last two.
Yeah. So, but I guess, and so it was nice to know you, Braun. We'll
see you next week on SmackDown.
Yeah, you'll just say, "Well, I do the old." I guess in the using the whole the old thing they do in horror or any film. If you don't see them die, they probably found a way to live. Found a way to get it. So it'd be like, well, what you didn't know is I found a way. There was a boat nearby, or like a float, and I found a way to swim, or something like that. But anyway, that was the end of. I always forget it was called The Horror Show Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
So again, we'll obviously wrap this up because obviously it's been it's quite like 10 o'clock now. So while recording this anyway. So overall, so like we'll wrap it up. So overall about this Extreme, what was your thoughts? Do you think it was a good show, or do you think it was a mess show?
I think it was an okay show. One or two like bookings, especially Raw Women's Championship, was probably the biggest kind of downside. The US title match was just a waste of time. It wasn't even a match. Drew against Dolph, they worked, I guess, something with it. Eye for an eye. It could have been a hell of a lot worse. It was okay if you just had the match element. There's the Extreme Rules and them trying to gouge out the eye rather than having the stipulation. The first two matches were great. They were fun. Good way to start the show. The Swamp match, again, could have been better, but could have been a hell of a lot worse. And it was about 2.5 hours, so it was well paced, I thought.
Yeah.
If they can stick to that, yeah, great.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, I was just like, maybe it's because I'm just so used to bad shows. It's just like I enjoyed this show. I mean, obviously, it's just like there was like we've got small little improvements about the finishes and kind of like the stipulations and stuff, but it's like the first tag team match that was enjoyable. The SmackDown Women's one, Bayley and Nikki Cross, really fun. You had you had the Drew was with Drew and Dolph Ziggler. I loved the stipulation on that and sort of the way they used it. Obviously the War Women's match was great until the finish, where they completely, for my opinion, ruined it. And the Swamp match, the Wyatt Swamp match was it was fun, it was good, it was interesting. It just needed more time and it could have explored a bit more. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think it's, for going in every WWE pay-per-view with the most lowest expectations known to man. Yeah. It was. This is another one example where going in with low expectations and coming out going, you know what, that was good. I'm glad I stayed up for that. I'm glad I stayed up.
That was okay.
Yeah. I mean, for the standard of level that we expect from WWE, that was considered a good show, I would say. In my opinion. Obviously, some people would say it's boring and rubbish, but that's there.
If you read Twitter, everyone's mad. Everyone hates it. I don't think it's as bad as everyone says it is. I mean, it's not exactly Hell in the Cell last year. You know, it's not like Saudi Arabia bad. No, I can't even say Saudi Arabia because I don't want to bring it up.
Let's not talk about those ever again. There's a rule. We can't talk about Saudi Arabia ever again. Yeah. Every time.
Well, I guess that's the positive again about coronavirus. No Saudi shows.
Oh, thank God. God awful. But I mean, but this was. I think for some people, it's like when you take a standard of pay-per-views we have at WWE and the kind of way they sort of do it. It was a very solid and consistently good show. Obviously, they could do 100 times better, but then you could say that about because it's like you don't want a good show with WWE pay-per-views. You want great, but yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. Again, it's not a show you go back to, but it was like for Sunday was it or for us in early Monday morning. Yeah. Last little fix of 2.5 hour wrestling. Yeah, nothing annoyed me as much. Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it. So, we're going to put like a finish off with a nice grade. Like what kind of like out of 10 or like a letter grade or
grade it. I guess it's kind of exceeded expectations, so you could say B-. But then again you could drop it down just to say C+ because there was again one match that was advertised didn't happen. But on the plus side, I wasn't really keen on that match anyway. MVP Apollo Crews.
No, I wasn't. It's on my list.
Yeah, just Sasha and it's almost kind of like forgivable. I'd probably say B-. It's I can sort of maybe forgive it because the match was really good with Sasha and Asuka, and we're probably going to get that rematch.
Yeah, but
it exceeded expectations, and it could have been a hell of a lot worse.
Yeah, so
I'll give WWE credit there.
Yeah, so it kept steadied the ship, as they say. I mean, I do like a number grading because I want to be different. Say 7 out of 10. I would say because I still think
it's around about that range. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just like the show. I mean, I just can't like the quality of the matching is like it was really good. I mean, I can't nitpick anything. None of the matches felt like can I say boring or like oh my god, why is this on? The only reason they're kind of annoying because of maybe the stipulation they picked or the finish they chose. But when it comes to the overall quality of the wrestling, it's really top notch. Or like on like good, it was like good standard. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for me. Cool. So that's it. We haven't gone to like 2.5 hours like we normally do with some views like this, but we've done a good pace for this time. So
yeah, well paced, I thought. Yes.
So so obviously we'll be back for unless we do another like maybe pay-per-view or something, or we think of something else to do where we can review because. We're back for obviously. You think SummerSlam's next week? At the end of next month.
We've got NXT Takeover the day before that as well, but we'll probably do a double whammy.
Yeah,
I think
that would be. Yeah, well, that's going to be uber long.
Yes.
Oh, it's going to be fun to chat about it. So, or I'd use my editing powers and just chop it into, make it into episodes because I'm just that amazing. I mean,
cool. Shall we do some plugging? before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I mean, do you want to start plugging your stuff? Because obviously you've got a lot of stuff going on at the moment, so...
Yep, so I currently write for What Culture. I do articles not only on wrestling, but also on TV, film, including documentaries. And you can check out my articles. Just look at or find my name, Joshua Plummer. That's 2 M's, no B. Joshua Plummer on What Culture. My most recent article, I've done a Friends one. I've also done a American Dad quiz. You can expect an Obi-Wan Kenobi article very, very soon, as well as a quiz about Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And I'll also come back for another wrestling one at some point as well.
Ah, cool. And obviously, do you want to plug your... Obviously, you do like live streaming at the moment, aren't you?
I'm currently doing some live streaming, as I'm doing right now, in fact. Hello, everybody. On an app called Likey, which is similar to TikTok, but... I'm currently doing this paid opportunity, this paid promotion at the moment. If you'd like to know a little bit more, contact me at Joshua Plummer UK on Twitter or at Josh and Stu Pod, where you can also find out more details about our podcasts and other goings on. But yeah, if you want to know a little bit more about streaming and potentially get paid for it, yeah, drop me a line. You can also drop us an email at joshandstewpodcast@gmail.com. Stuart, over to you. What would you like to plug?
Yeah, well, no, not. I mean, I still got some stuff on there. Yes, I mean, at the moment, I've got obviously, I've started off the whole best match series I've been doing for the last couple months. I've got 2 episodes out already. Obviously, looking at Chris Jericho. It's always looking at his library of great matches he's had over the years. Yeah, obviously, that's released every Wednesday around about 1 p.m. UK time. So. My plan to that be out on Wednesday, so keep an eye on our Twitter for that. Also, I've been not plugging stuff I'm doing, but just because if you've seen it on Twitter, I've been trying out the old graphics and sort of like illustration. As you've probably seen on our Twitter, I've put some new designs. We've got a new logo. I've done. And with if it looks familiar, it is, but it's the old APA logo. That's really cool, and obviously there will be at some point, probably next week, couple of weeks, a new retro review on my Stuart Irvine retro review series. So, and I've got a new logo for that as well. So, if you want to check that out, go on our Instagram at the Josh and Stu Wrestling Podcast. I've posted it on there, and if you've seen it on Twitter, I'm really proud of it. It's really good. It looks really nice.
It does look nice.
And I mean, it's if you ever want to try and do that, go on this thing called Canvas. It's type it in Google. It's basically like graphics. It's basically a graphic design type thing where you can just design your own logos and everything. And it's just ever since I found it, it's revolutionised me when it comes to doing all kinds of stuff for our podcast, because it's like we've got all these cool graphics now. So yeah. So if you want to, check that out, because and let me know what you think of it. That'd be awesome. And yeah, I've got a best match series coming out Wednesday. So, and as always, there's always all kinds of other stuff that might be coming next couple of weeks, but I don't want to reveal until I've got it all sorted. So, yeah. So yeah, I think we should wrap this up. It's 10 o'clock here in the UK while recording this. So, guessing we all want to maybe have some tea or something, or relax. So
have some tea, yeah, relax for a little bit, have a nice early-ish night compared to the night we had last night. Stay up until 3-4 in the morning, whatever it was.
Yeah. So I've been Stuart Irvine.
I've been Joshua Plummer.
Yep. And if I don't see you beforehand, we'll see you back at SummerSlam. So everyone have a good, or in this case evening. Everyone have a good day. Bye bye.
See you. Love you.